Greetings YouTube, welcome back to the Meta Nerd channel. I'm Marcus, bringing you another video for Cardfight Vanguard Overdress. It's only been a while since I wrapped up DBT07 and here we are, DBT08 week 1. So, as we already know, there are a ton of returning decks from the old era to the standard. So, naturally everybody is hyped, in particularly for Minerva, since she is front and center for DBT08, as well as Lukier and Maelstrom. Those are really popular units. But yeah, the week 1 officially started and we do see quite a few stuff already, and it's actually looking really good. Hopefully this does bring new stuff into the meta, as well as, you know, variety to be played within the standard. Let's take a look at week 1. First off, we have, of course, Tamayura, Scarlet of Fluttering, Evanescent Life, whatever you pronounce that. Of course, you will need to pay Soblast 2 if you have a Vanguard with Tamayura. Choose up to 1 unit card with Rirami in its card name and up to 1 unit card with Rarami in its card name, each from your drop, and call them to rearguard circle. So yeah, again, we see another card that basically recycles Rirami and Rarami, which is these 2 cards from the drop zone, which is actually very nice because most of the time you will tend to guard with them and it goes to soul anyway, so you might as well just pay that Soblast 2 to basically call them back out. And not to mention, you are able to activate both Rirami as well as Rarami skill more often because you call them at the same time, so you get to choose which one you want to use their skill, be it a draw card or send an opponent's rearguard to the soul, whichever you choose. But do keep in mind, each of these skills does cost you Soul Blast 2, so if you do want to use like the full effect including this order card, that's Soul Blast 6, which means that your soul resources is really high. I think this is more like a Dark States deck that instead of a Dragon Empire, but hey, it actually makes sense that this deck actually uses soul because Rirami as Rarami is part Dark States, so I guess that makes sense. Next, for Dragon Empire, we have Sublime Lance Dragon. Although when this unit is placed on rearguard circle, cost counterblast 2, choose one of your opponent's rearguard and bind all of the cards on the chosen rearguard circle. So this is probably hinting something new for the new right line, because there's literally nothing at the moment that we have that actually, you know, take advantage of the bind zone. This is actually very disgusting, and not to mention, binding stuff is usually very detrimental. And the most important aspect of this unit and why this is a counterblast 2 is that this card actually targets the rearguard circle instead of the rearguard unit, so Trickstar is in deep trouble. Even if the unit themselves does not has a resist skill, this dragon targets the circle instead of the rearguard itself, so you know, resist skill does not really apply here. So yeah, Blitz Virina, you're in big trouble, very big trouble. But of course, Counterblast 2 is very heavy in and already limited resources within Dragon Empire. Dragon Empire does not have counter charge even until now. Yeah, so probably a skip, but we're gonna have to wait until the new right line. Dragon Empire do get a new right line, so maybe that deck will be helping this card, who knows. Next, for Chaos, we have Song of Extolment Can Be Heard. Play this if you have a Vanguard with Chaos, obviously. Choose one of your Vanguard, it gets 10k power until the end of turn. Choose 3 normal units from your drop, put them into your soul, and put this card on the bottom of your deck. This order card basically powers up Chaos, while at the same time increase the consistency for Chaos, provided you have 3 normal units in your drop zone, that is. So I don't think this card is good, at least for now, because it's in direct competition with the other order, one who governs Chaos. If you compare them side by side, I think the PR is much better than this double R order card, because you know, the PR does helps you check top 5 and soul charge and then pull something out from the soul, and it gives that unit power, I mean Mikani power. So there's really no competition in which one you should be playing. For a final turn push, I think one who governs Chaos should be played instead of the Song of Extolment Can Be Heard, because this card is more of a setup card. If you haven't reached 13 different soul, then sure, you should use this card to basically just push for that 13 mark. But of course, if you don't hit like the sweet spot, for example, you're just 1 soul shy away from the 13 different names, I personally will recommend you still use the one who governs Chaos. This card does not really do much for now, other than increasing the consistency for Chaos skill. That's all. Do let me know down in the comment section on what do you think. I don't think this card does as much for now. Next, we have Dimness Fiend. Auto rearguard circle. When this unit boosts, if your soul has 5 or more cards, this unit gets 5k power until the end of that battle. Yeah, this this is an auto skip because it's not doing anything. Next, we have Cater Sanctuary, the grade 3 boss unit for the Nintendo Switch dear days. Sword Saint Night Dragon Graham Grace. Continuous Vanguard Circle. Your personal right also increase the power of your back row units. Second skill, active Vanguard Circle once per turn. Cost Counter Blast 1 and Soul Blast 1. Draw a card, choose a card from your hand and call it to the back row center rearguard circle. And until end of turn, that unit can attack from the back row and gets 10k power. Third skill, auto Vanguard Circle. At the end of the battle, your back row center rearguard attack, put that unit into your soul and draw a card. So yeah, the first skill is basically Magnolia's bad dream. I mean, Magnolia can increase the power to the back row, but he needs another card. Whereas this card, by himself, is able to basically power up the full board. This is so disgusting. That's basically a massive power up. That's basically a 20k to left and right column, which is super disgusting. The second skill right off the bat allows the whole deck to have a 4 attack because, you know, it's attacking from the back row center rearguard. We don't really know what kind of support that this boss unit is gonna get. I mean, even if we do not know what the direction is gonna be, we do actually have a lot, and I mean a lot of potentially good Cater Sanctuary units to support this card. This card, I think, has potential. It has really good potential, and not to mention, you basically plus a lot. Very neat. It's actually a very weird thing, you know. You guys know I play Spike Brothers or Bruce, which is still Spike Brothers. It's very weird to see a Spike Brothers skill inside Cater Sanctuary. Very weird. But hey, I'm not complaining, it's just that I can't play it. Next, we have Knight of Hammer Silence Sadie. Although when this unit is placed on rearguard circle by a card's ability, cost Counter Blast 1, draw a card, and this unit gets 5k power until the end of turn. So this card is obviously gonna benefit Graham Grace a little bit because, you know, Graham Grace could call a unit to the back row center rearguard, and I think does give it a 5k power, which means that by using the full skill of Graham Grace and Sadie, she is going to be a 35k attacker, which is very stupid. If you're wondering where the extra 10k is, it's from the personal right, which is quite stupid. On her own, it's 35k, even without any triggers. Stupid. Although the counter blast usage will be quite high because each and every stuff costs a counter blast. Graham Grace costs a counter blast, this card costs a counter blast, and if you keep doing that every single turn, like this turn and the next turn, you're basically using up 4 counter blasts. If you don't get huge trigger, if you don't have any other ways for you to counter charge, yeah, it's gonna suck a little bit. Just a little bit. Not too much, just a little bit. Next, we have Unwavering Flamesword Radylina. Auto rearguard circle. At the beginning of your main phase, if you do not have a Momoke token on your rearguard circle, call up to 1 Momoke token to rearguard circle. Glitter, Rorowa, obviously. Auto from hand. At the end of the battle that your rearguards with Radylina in its card name attack, if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, cost retire 1 each of your rearguard with Radylina in its card name and Momoke tokens. Call this card to rearguard circle and increase that unit's power by the power of the Momoke token retired for the cost of this ability until the end of turn. So the first skill is actually an automatically upgrade from the grade 2 Radylina, but of course you will still need the grade 2 Radylina because that skill only triggers at the beginning of main phase, meaning if you call this card the grade 3 Radylina during your main phase, she is not gonna superior call a Momoke token, so do be careful. You still want to run the grade 2, it's not obsolete, this card just extends out of that grade 2 Radylina. And I don't think you will want to straight away superior call. If you have the grade 2 Radylina, you might as well just call that grade 2 and then just use this grade 3 on top of that because of the glitter skill. The glitter skill is actually very disgusting. It basically gives Rorowa a 5 attacks, so it's quite disgusting. And not to mention, the power boost is disgusting. We already know Momoke can gain 5k power for each and every rearguard you retire, and that power can be transferred to the grade 2. And not to mention, this grade 3 could get back that power as well, so you are getting a lot of value out of retiring your Momoke as well as Radylina. However, it still does not really like solve the weakness of needing Radylina on the field for you to superior call Momoke token. So going up against retiring deck as well as binding, it's actually a very detrimental matchup for now because we still do not have like stuff that basically do help a lot for Rorowa deck. But I think this card is enough for Rorowa to basically increase his output. Rorowa at the moment is doing quite well, and with this added to the arsenal, yeah, we could actually see Rorowa going up the meta finally. And since you are able to attack 5 times within a Rorowa deck, Price Trident can be played now. It's basically helping you to counter charge back, which is actually very nice. You won't be as limited in terms of your counter blast usage. Next, of course, we have the Rorowa normal order. First off, was Rorowa a girl all this time? To the shining stage. You need to Soul Blast 1 if you have a Vanguard with Rorowa. Choose up to one card with grade equal to or less than your Vanguard from your drop and call it the Rearguard Circle. Then, if you have a Rearguard with Radylina as card name, you may call a plant token to Rearguard Circle. I mean, it's Stoicheia. Grand Blue is a part of Stoicheia, so it makes sense that Stoicheia actually has that Grand Blue-ish skill. You could basically call anything from the drop, so since this is a grade 1 auto card, this would mean that anything that you put out to rush can just be recycled and basically get this card back. This card is borderline disgusting. And not to mention, if you do superior call back the Radylina, you get another free token, which is super disgusting. How will you not call the plant token? Unless of course you don't have Radylina anywhere when you use this skill, then sure, you don't have the extra token. Although having the extra token is very nice because Momoke can get an extra 5k, and not to mention it's basically a 5k shield for grade 3 Rorowa. Very nice. And of course, since this is a Soul Blast one, you might have a soul issue, but as mentioned before, Price Trident can be played in Rorowa already. So since Price Trident does provide you soul, I don't think it will be a problem. It's going to be a very nice deck building day for Rorowa players. Next, we have Signpost Fairy. Although when this unit is retired from Rearguard Circle by your card's ability, if your Vanguard is a Glitter, choose one of your grade 1 or less Rearguards and it gets 10k power until the end of turn. This is a very nice teching card to power up both Momoke and Radylina, because Momoke can get really huge and Momoke's power will just transfer to the grade 2 Radylina as well as the grade 3. So this card I think is a very disgusting card to be run and could catch some players off guard, because you know Momoke can retire it to get a 5k and get a 10k, which means that this one retire gives Momoke a 15k, which in turn powers up both grade 2 and grade 3 Radylina. Disgusting. However, the bigger question here is that who are you going to replace? There are a lot of good units to be run in Stoicheia. It's going to be a hassle for Rorowa players to basically deck build. One or two I think is fine, but you could choose to skip this as well, because other than waiting to be retired, this card does next to nothing. Next, we have Tidal Boar Brave Shooter. Continuous Rearguard Circle. During your turn, if you have another grade 2 or greater unit in the same column as this unit gets 5k power. Basically a generic 15k grade 2, but something feels really off with this card is that you will need to have a grade 2, which means this card, and another grade 2 or greater unit in the same column, which means that probably there is another card that could attack from the back row that could go well with this card, but I don't know. This is a common though, so probably a skip. But it's actually interesting that this has a very unique restriction to get the 5k, which it's not really enough, I would say. Next, of course, this was revealed like quite some time ago, although it's not really DBT08, it's a promo, but I need to talk about this card before I move to the next one, because only then it will kind of make sense. Rippling Quake Monster Eredogrema. Auto, when this unit is placed on Vanguard Circle, reveal the top 5 cards of your deck. Put all set orders from among them into your auto zone and shuffle your deck. Second skill, Auto Vanguard Circle. At the end of the battle this unit attack, choose any number of set orders from your auto zone. If you choose 3 or more cards with different card names, choose one of your rearguards, stand it. And if you choose 5 or more cards with different card names, stand this unit. And this unit gets 10k and -2 drive until the end of turn. Return all of the cards from your auto zone chosen with this ability to your deck and shuffle it. That's actually a very mouthful, and the skill is like very long. This, I think, is the boss monster that is probably going to stand on top of Brandgate. This monster is a monster. Any set order can be abused with this card, and not to mention some set orders do have restriction that basically says if you have a Vanguard with this and that name, only then you can play that set order. This card completely ignores that thing and basically just set that order. I mean, it only says put. It does not really says you need to play or pay the cost for that set order in order to, you know, put it into the order zone, which means this just opens up the floodgate to each and every existing set order, in particularly the world set order as well as the product set order. The world set order as well as, of course, meteors. These 2 cards just basically helps you draw. You can draw from it, and of course you can soul charge from the meteor. You can call a shadow army token. You can retire a front row. You can basically just set that friendship maximum, and then you can use the Blitz CEO stuff to basically operate it to get a 23k rearguard. Although it does cost you a counter blast, but still, this boss unit does not cost you counter blast. And of course, you can even get a free counter charge. Yes, that counter charge, you can still use it. It does not matter. Although you won't be running Obscured ID, although you could run Obscured ID, but still, disgusting. Disgusting. Yeah, even Bind you can use this. This is such a disgusting card and basically ignores whatever restriction that set order have. And of course, this card will just be even more powerful the more set orders Vanguard has. It's utterly disgusting and I'm very disgusted by this card. 5 attacks in total and it's free. Although the Vanguard does restand once, but it's -2 drive. So if there is a card that basically gives this card a drive, it's gonna be so disgusting. Of course, running cards that can actually help you recycle and put any set orders to your order zone is definitely needed, because it's choose 5 set orders and you basically have to return them to the deck is not really that great. You're not gonna keep spamming this skill for long because it's choose 5. Look at how fast Gravidia used the Meteor. Definitely, you will want to run stuff that can actually put set order to the order zone. Next and lastly is High Flight Conversion. I can't pronounce that name. Auto Rigger Circle. When this unit attacks, if your order zone has 3 or more set orders with different card names, cost Soul Blast 1, and this unit gets 10k power until the end of that battle. So yeah, this is basically a 28k for all Vanguard decks, except maybe Seraph Snow, because you know Seraph Snow does not really set a lot of set orders. This unit is actually on par with Combine Rusher, but still, this card does not have the equal value to Combine Rusher because this card cannot call himself from the drop zone. But Combine Rusher, that card is disgusting. I could possibly see some uses for this card because it's actually very, very nice, but still, this card works best with the previous boss unit. And that is all for week 1. It's only week 1 and we do see quite a little bit of a banger of a cards. I hope to see even more for week 2 and following the rest. Of course, do like and subscribe if you like this video, of course. And don't forget to ring the bell notification icon so that you don't miss a video I upload. With that being said, I'll see you all on the field.